What's going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Nautical Narratives. I am your narrator, the one, the only, Mr. First Class. So, really quickly, I pray that everybody is having a wonderful week. Anything that is not going well, I pray that you have the support and the love around you to get through whatever life may be throwing at you at this time. So, I want to tell y'all a story about the time I almost ruined my entire career. Obviously, it did not happen because I ultimately was able to retire. But this was one of those moments that definitely changed the way that I operated in life and gave me better perspective on when and where to open my mouth. So it is 2003, 2004. The war is raging. I believe we are in Afghanistan and in Iraq at this point. Matter of fact, yes, we definitely are. So by this point, there is a lot of traffic on my base, as this is a weapons station. And so obviously weapons, we're talking ordnance, we're talking tanks, all of that kind of stuff is flowing in and out of this base. And I being security, because essentially a master arms or military police, period, you are half actual police officer. So you drive around in a police car, you got a gun, you can do traffic stops, all of that kind of stuff, but you also stand on gates. Now, this particular evening, we are standing on the gate with myself and my homeboy, H-Town. That's what we're going to call him, H-Town. So me and H-Town are on a truck inspection station. This truck inspection station works like this. 18-wheeler comes up. They have a load that they need to drop, but we have to verify them. So what me and H-Town do, we inspect the truck, the mirrors underneath the truck, look inside, check it. Obviously we not fine tooth combing it, but we're definitely trying to make sure like no weapons, nothing crazy is inside the cab. And from there, the trucker normally takes his paperwork to the inside of the building. And the person at the front desk, and the only reason I know this is because I did the front desk duty eventually at some point. So I know what it was. Essentially, they take the paperwork up there. There are several copies made. We keep a copy at the front desk. We give them the originals and we give them a copy to give to the unit that they're going to drop their load off with behind our fence line. So now that you have an understanding of what's happening, what's going on, and who are the players, this is how it all went wrong. So me and H-Town, we out there. This is 12-hour shifts, mind you. So 7 to 7, 7 in the morning to 7 in the evening, or 7 in the evening to 7 in the morning. I believe we are on the 7 to 7. Matter of fact, we are. It's evening to morning. So me and H-Town are hanging out. It's pretty early in the morning. It's not too much longer. We don't really have that much longer to go before our shift is over. Well, truck pulls up as usual. We do our inspection. This particular truck, however, is a little bit different in the fact that it has a husband and wife team. So the husband and wife ride together, and which I think is a beautiful thing because you have a companion. Instead of your wife missing you while you're out on the road, you have your companion with you. And so you guys, you're not worried about, him being with somebody else while he's on the road or her being with somebody else. And you just have that person, if you really love them and y'all really are like friends like that, you have that person and that companion with you the whole time. So again, beautiful, beautiful thing. However, this particular evening, instead of what normally happens is the husband goes inside, the wife gets back in the truck and just waits for the husband, and then they do what they need to do. This particular evening, though, the wife gets out of the truck and stays out of the truck. And the husband goes inside, and the wife starts to, make small talk. So the small talk is initially just, hey, how you guys doing this evening? Oh, we're doing good. Learning about from her, what it's like riding the trucks, how they do their thing. So I'm like, man, that's dope. Just understanding that. I think they said they only, or she said that they only worked like 3 months out of the year, and the other 9 they could just basically do whatever they want to do. That's how much money they were making, I guess, from their retirement, and then just driving the truck for 3 months. They was making so much bread that for the other 9 months, they basically were just going on cruises, going on trips, traveling the country. I was like, yo, that's awesome. All was great. All was well. This could have gone by and nothing ever happened until she asked the fateful question of, so what do you guys think of the war? And please understand, I definitely have a different opinion about things. But at 22, yeah, I would say 22 years old, very opinionated, had my own mind, had my own thoughts. And rather than just saying, oh, I think it's fine and moving on, giving her like, a basic answer, I actually told her what I thought. And she lost it. She was hysterical after I said what I said. Now, I'm definitely not going to share with you what I said, but just imagine all the things that I could have possibly said at the time, 22 years old, fresh, I've only been in the military since 2001 and it's 2003. So again, it's only been 2 years. I still got a little roughness to me. And I am a black man from the Midwest, and I have my opinions on how I have been treated in the past, and that could have colored the way that I thought about the war and the way that I expressed it in that moment. However, like I said, she became hysterical, and my homeboy to this day still repeats certain things that were said that evening out of the blue, like just in conversation, just out of the blue. He will say those things to me, which are hilarious. One of those being, Houston, this guy's going to get you killed. At the time, even now it's hilarious, but at the time, it was like, what? You wildin'. Like, what do you mean I'm going to get him killed? Like, I'm very much a protective individual, especially the people that are around me, the people that I feel like I'm tasked with protecting. Um, my opinion can be whatever my opinion is of something, but that doesn't change that my duty is my duty. You know what I mean? Like, no matter what's going on, even if my kid is doing something I don't necessarily like, and I'm still going to be her daddy. It's not going to change because I don't personally like her behavior in the moment. I'm still going to hold on to what I said I would do. And so, yeah, she said that, like I said, and she got back in her truck. The husband came back before the conversation could escalate any further. Husband comes back, they get in the truck, they leave. I think nothing else of this moment, and neither does H-Town. So, fast forward maybe a couple hours, word gets back to my command about what I said. Now, if you know anything about military police and the Master at Arms, they are attached and they are under the direct authority of the CO and the XO or the commandant or whatever. Because again, I don't know everybody else's branch, but for the Navy, the CO and the XO are like the top two people in control of this entire base. Now, there are other COs for different units, but these particular CO and XO are over all of the commands on this base are under their control. And we have our direct authority and our direct responsibility to these individuals as Master at Arms. So somehow it gets back to the command. Long story short, it got back because she told somebody behind the fence. That got to their CO, who then called the XO of the base, my XO, and then ultimately called the CO. I was taken off shift. So now I am no longer on 12-hour shifts, and I'm no longer allowed to carry my gun for the foreseeable future. Now, before all of this really like happens, like I think it was like the next day, by the grace of God alone, the next day they bring me into the office. Like I said, I'm no longer allowed to come into work. This is when they inform me, but I also have to fill out a statement. And that statement is hey, what happened, or from your perspective, what happened last night, and write down what you said, what she said, all of that. I said, cool. I write that down. Boom. Well, Houston was also supposed to be called in to fill out his form, to fill out his statement. The reason why I say by the grace of God is that Houston was on leave at the time. H-Town was on leave at the time. And so because H-Town was on leave at the time, he got notified by phone because they were reaching out like, hey, we need you to come in. But because he was on leave, they can't force him to come back. Well, he then reached out to me. Like I said, good thing that he had my number. But he reached out to me and he's like, man, what happened, man? What? I was like, yo, and I told him like, yo, that blew up way bigger than we thought it was gonna blow up. And so he was like, man, well, what did you say on your form? He said, I told him what I said on the form, and him being a good friend, H-Town mimicked what I said. Now, as we all know, the saying is true. It is never going to change. There is his side, there is her side, and then there is the truth. If y'all could have seen what she said, I said, it was. I get this phrase from the Bay, but it's putting the 2 on the 10. So basically, it's like she doing extra, she doing the most in this situation with what she said I said. When it's like, and that helped me even more because when you start fabricating what was said and embellishing it to make it, make the fish 30 feet, you know what I'm saying? When it was probably only 10 feet long, and you making it 30 feet and it was like 4,000 pounds. It's like, so that's basically what she did. She did the most. I probably did the least. Houston backed me. And so it ultimately went away and I went on about my business. However, it wasn't just a simple, all right, cool, I went on about my business. The way that this worked was there is a thing in the Navy called DRB, or disciplinary review board. DRB is like the first level in like, you really in trouble, because like some things, they'll just call you into the office, write you up, something like that, something quick, something light. But DRB is like the start of like, you really got to go talk to some people, because you have DRB, you have XOI, and that's where you talk to the XO prior to going to the captain for captain's mass. Captain's mass is non-judiciary punishment. So it's not going for a court martial, but they can likely take your rank. The CO he can take your rank, he can take money, he can put you out the military. But or if your whatever your offense is bad enough, can send you to court martial, can decide like, no, this too bad, you got to go see them people. Well, me being young and trying to understand like, man, what's going on, what could happen, I'm reading in my book, in the UCMJ, not my book, sorry, but the book, the UCMJ, the Uniform Code of Military Justice. And based on what the lady said I said, those were considered treasonous statements. Now, I didn't say any of what she said I said. So it's like, no, nothing I said was treasonous. It may have been in, like I said, in poor taste, but it wasn't a situation where it was like, nothing was treasonous about what I said. And honestly, y'all can believe me or not believe me, but it's neither here nor there at this point. But so I'm looking up treasonous statements, or, you're talking 2-3 years in the brig or military prison. I'm like, wait, what? I'm shook. I'm like nervous than a mug. And to the point where I had a dream about it, and the dream did not reflect what was coming. It reflected what my mind thought about it. Like, I thought like I was gonna get burned, but my mom was like, no, you're gonna be fine, all is gonna be well. And so I ended up going to DRB. So it never got any higher than DRB. DRB is basically get your dress whites or your dress blues. They better look sharp. They better be squared away. You better have your thing together. And you walk into a room. First of all, you're gonna stand at attention outside this room for however long they want you to stand there, because that's what it is. You done made us have to gather together. Oh, we pissed already. So you gather up, you stand outside this room, you have this room full of chiefs. So you have E7s, E8s, and E9s. You have chiefs, senior chiefs, and master chiefs all in this room. And they they are waiting to chew into you. Flat out. That's what this is. They are ready to chew into you. And ultimately, if they find something more, they can push this up. Luckily, like I said, by the grace of God, nothing happened other than them yelling at me, accusing me of potentially doing this on purpose just so I could get off of 8 or 12-hour shifts, because the punishment that they put me on ultimately had me at work for only 8 hours, doing far less work than I was doing before, prior to the DRB. I think I was like 3 months that I was doing this duty. And then ultimately, right as they released me and let me go back to work, we were back at 8-hour shifts, which I was grateful for. But yeah, so that is the story of the time I almost ruined my career. like I said, by the grace, it did not happen. Uh, for anybody that, has ever had any issues, ever had any trouble, man, I hope this makes you feel better. Potentially, just something to think about, to laugh at, to reflect on, like, hey, maybe I could have done something differently in my situation. Like I said, my situation just worked out because things just fell into place the way that they did. Um, but like I said, I wish the best for everybody, especially my sailors, especially my Marines and my Air Force. People, my airmen. There we go. Airmen, the what is it, Space Force? I don't know what you call them, but I guess they airmen too. I don't know. Coasties, all of them. Like I hope that everybody's career, they get out of it what they want, but I know that ain't always the case. And sometimes we find ourselves in trouble that we have created, but like I said, I pray that it works out for you, whatever you're into or what you gotten yourself into. I pray that it works out for you. But even if it doesn't, hey, life moves on. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's path is not the same. And I pray that wherever your path does take you, if for some reason you did end up getting kicked out the military, I pray it works out for you. But with that being said, as always, fair winds, following seas, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.